for another video for our YouTube learning sessions for the unique curriculum. We're continuing our conversation on DNA, on how traits and talents are passed down from one generation to the next. So one thing I've noticed in our stories this month is they look a lot at pictures. And I was thinking that's something most of us have in our house. A lot of us have pictures in our house. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the vocabulary words and the spelling words for this week. Then I'm going to show you some pictures of my family, of people that I share DNA with, who some are still alive and some aren't. And I'll go over chapter 2 of our DNA unique book. And then I'll talk to you about something you can do, and I'd love to see from you, a project that I would love to see you guys do. So here we go. I'm going to start right now. So as you remember last week, our words were trait. A trait is something like a physical trait that you inherit. Like I naturally have brown hair. I inherited this crooked finger from my mom. We both have it. I inherited blue eyes from my parents. Those are in traits that we inherit, physical attributes we inherit. We also inherit was one of our words. Parent was one of our words, mother or father. And talent was one of our words. Talents, you can also, sometimes you can inherit talent. Like if your mom was a wonderful singer, oh, you might be a wonderful singer. Oh, but I am not a wonderful singer. So probably most likely none of my kids will be wonderful singers. But maybe they will. Who knows? We don't know. So that was last week's words. This week's words go along with the family. And I'm sure you guys know what all of these words mean, but we'll just go over it. Remember, I want you to write these words down. You can pause the video, write them down, and then write the definition. And we'll go over that when we do our live classes. This is the first vocabulary word is grandparent. Grandparent. And you can kind of see in this picture right here that there is, these two people are in a brighter color. And then these people are in a lighter color. So what they're trying to show you is they're talking about the people who are in color. This man and this woman. And they're saying these people are parents to maybe him. I don't really know. And they're grandparents to this little boy. So if this is you, this would be your dad and your dad's parents. Or it could be this is you, this is your mom, or your mom's parents. So the definition for grandparent is a parent of your mother or father. Grandparent. And grandparent is spelled Grandparent. Grandparent. The next word is brother. Brother. Someone you give noogies to. Oh wait, just kidding. You probably shouldn't do that. Brother. If you look here, you see a family. It's referring to this person, the person that's in a brighter color. There's a mom and a dad, and they have a girl and a boy. And the boy is the brother of this girl. This boy is their son, but the boy is also her brother. Okay? And a brother is a boy who has the same parents as you. That is what a brother is. And we spell brother B-R-O-T-H-E-R. The last word, we only have 3 words this week, is sister. Sister. S-I-S-T-E-R. Now this is kind of like brother, but it's with a girl. So they're the parents. They have a girl, a daughter, and a boy, a son. And she is this son's sister. Okay? A girl who has the same parents as you is your sister. Not everyone has a sister, and not everyone has a brother. But sometimes you do. Sometimes you're the only child. There's just one of you. Sometimes you could have 3 brothers, but no sisters. I think we have a few people in our class who just have brothers and no sisters. And we have a few people who have sisters and not brothers. Some people in our class have no siblings, no brothers or sisters, because they're the only child. So you can have families in lots of different ways. And like I said, with my family, I have lots of kids, and not all of them share my DNA, and they don't all share each other's DNA with each other. So my kids have some biological siblings that they live with, and they also have some siblings that they live with that don't share DNA with them, and they're still brothers and sisters. So like I said, families can be made up in lots of different ways. So like I said earlier, one thing we've been reading about is how this guy Josh in our story is looking at photo albums, and a lot of people keep photo albums, and I'll show you one of mine. It's one of my favorites. This is my photo album, and yeah, this is right. This is my photo album. And a photo album is like a book. See, it's like a book. Some of them have pictures on them and stuff. It's like a book, and in this book there are pictures. Okay, so this is a photo album, and I showed you a photo that came from this photo right here, but I had it much bigger last week. And so this is actually my wedding photo album. So as you see, you guys know Felicity and Olivia. This is when they were little. This is my son Vaughn. This is us. So an album is a book that has a collection of photos in it. There's me. And there's my husband and his mom. Oh, so look, parents. I'm talking about that. My husband's father has passed away, so he was not at our wedding. But here's my husband, and that is a picture with his mom. And then this is me with a picture with my dad and my mom. All right. And then at the time, this is my husband, and he is going to adopt these two boys, which I adopted earlier, Vaughn and Abe. These two boys, they're not related with DNA, but they are related because they're both my sons. So they're brothers, which is our word, brother, right? So that's kind of it. This is my aunt. We talk about aunts. This is my dad's sister, my Aunt Mary. My dad does not have any brothers, but he has 4 sisters. He has an Aunt Mary, an Aunt Barbara, an Aunt Anne, and an Aunt Betsy. An interesting thing about Aunt Betsy is her real name is Elizabeth, but she goes by the name Betsy. So anyways, I won't show you all of these, but these are just some. Oh, this is my husband's sister, Alyssa, and her daughter, Adania. Okay, and then these are my girls right here, and they are all sisters. These two are related by DNA. Actually, all 3 of these. This one, Olivia, Vaughn, and Felicity. But my other ones, they are not related with DNA, but they still love each other very much and are very much brothers and sisters. So anyways, this is a book, has lots of pictures in it. My husband, I was going to say, he has some albums too, and they're not pictures of people. He is a graffiti artist, or he used to do a lot more than what he does now. And he did for our wedding, he did a mural. It actually says Mercy. And but he has albums of the work that he's thrown up. So you can have albums of people, but you can also have albums of your art, albums of activities you've done, places you've been. So like I said, I have an album as well. This is what an album is. I'm sure your parents have photo albums, and you can ask to look at theirs. Hopefully they have them. I had a friend whose house burnt down and they lost all their photo albums, which was really sad. One thing they talk about, and I'm sure you guys have pictures too. This is a picture of my grandma. This is my dad's mom, and I don't look much like her. Maybe I kind of do. I don't know. But anyways, this is my grandma. She passed away, and I miss her. And this is when she took me up to visit a college I went to, and she's a very sweet lady, very smart. She was a nurse. This is a picture of my grandparents, my mom's parents. This is my grandpa Byron, and this is my grandma Jane. I don't know why I said Jane. It's my grandma Jane. This is my grandma Jan. And it's interesting. I've noticed, I don't know if it's because my grandparents were older. My parents were older, so my grandparents were older. I noticed a lot of people call their grandparents by their first name. I never did. I called my grandparents Grandma Snyder, which is their last name, or Grandma Schoenwald, which is her last name. I don't know what you guys call your grandparents, but Yeah, I never call my grandparents by their first name. I never call them Grandma Jan. And my kids call their grandma Sarah, Grandma Jane, Grandma Lynn. We don't have a Grandma Jane. I don't know why I said Grandma Jane, but whatever. They call them by their first name. So anyways, and I don't look like her particularly either. She looks very pretty though in this picture. She actually passed away when I was 5, but I remember her very well. She's a very sweet young lady. And my grandpa passed away fairly recently. His name was Byron, and he had a very exciting job. He worked all over Europe as in the embassy, and we can talk more about that later. But basically, that is them. And then these are my parents. I think I look a little bit like my mom, maybe like my dad. I don't really know. Kind of a little bit of both. But that's my mom and my dad. I love them. They're good people. I like them more now that I'm older than when I was a teenager. So you guys who are teenagers right now, you'll really appreciate your parents as you get older. They're very special. And I've got lots of teenagers right now. I keep reminding myself of that. Anyways, it's a little divergent. Let's read our story. And I want you to be thinking about your parents and your grandparents as we're reading this story. This is chapter 2. It's titled Like Our Parents. And so let's see what this is all about. Remember last week Josh looked at pictures of his grandparents? Well, this week he's going to look at more pictures. Josh looks at more pictures in the album. He sees a little boy with Grandma Barb. "Hey, Dad, is that you?" he asks. Dad looks at the picture. "Yes," says Dad. "That is me with Grandma Barb." All right. So who's this boy right here? This boy right here. It's not Josh. It's Josh's dad. But he was little when this picture was taken. Josh turns the page of the photo album. "This is a picture of me with my sisters, Amy and Carrie. I was 3 years old," Dad says Dad. Josh smiles. "Hey, Dad," says Josh. "I look a lot like you too." And Claire looks like Aunt Amy. Okay, so he's saying, "Hey, look, this is Josh, the person who's talking in our story, and we're kind of the main character of our story, is talking about his dad. And he's saying, hey, we look alike. And look at Claire, my sister." Woo, there's that word. Sister. All right. "My sister looks like Aunt Amy." All right. So they inherited some physical traits from their aunts and from their parents. Josh looks at all the pictures in the photo album. Josh looks at a lot like his great-grandpa. He looks a lot like his dad, too. Claire looks a lot like Grandma Barb. She looks like Aunt Amy, too. So, and like we said, people and families, they can look a lot alike. And one thing I do notice about this picture of my mom and I, when I smile, my eyes kind of squint out like that. And I don't know if you can see it really well, but my mom does the same thing. Her eyes squint up. So I inherited that trait. And he's saying, like, I kind of look like you and Grandpa. And Claire looks like Grandma Barb and Aunt Ann. Apparently no one really looks like their mom. Josh likes learning about his dad's family. He likes that he looks like them. He thinks about his mom. "Do I have any traits from Mom? I don't look like her," says Josh. Oh, I just brought that up, didn't I? Sometimes we look a lot like one parent and not like a lot like another. I have a daughter who I gave birth to. Her name is Mercy. She looks a lot like me. And I have a daughter named Compassion, and she looks a lot like her dad. Like, we don't look a lot alike. Mercy has blue eyes, just like me, and Compassion has brown eyes, like her father. Let's see if the dad says he has anything like his mom. Josh's dad says, "Clasp your hands together." Josh puts his hands together and sees that his left thumb is on top. Josh's mom also puts her left thumb on top. But Josh's dad puts his right thumb on top. Josh shares this trait with his mom. So you guys, you take your hands and you clasp them together and you look at your thumbs. This is my left thumb. It is on top. So apparently this is genetic. I didn't know this till I read this book. Right? Genetic means it's something you inherit. So put your hands together. My left hand goes on top. Mercy, when I asked her to do this, her right hand went on top. When I asked Abraham to do it, his right hand went on top. When I asked Compassion to do it, her left thumb went on top. Rui's left thumb went on top. So apparently it's just you're just predisposed to put your right or your left thumb on top. I know rolling your tongue is also one. Olivia can roll her tongue like lots of different ways. Like it's kind of I don't know. Josh thinks about his hands. He wonders if Claire has the same trait. He wonders if Claire's has the same trait he does from his mom. Claire puts her right thumb on top. Claire is like Dad. Josh and Claire do not share this trait. How do you put your hands together? How you put your hands together can be passed down from from parents to child. Other things can also help decide how you put your hands together, says Dad. Hey, Dad, says Josh. Why do we look like our family? It's all in the genes, Dad says. Hey, says Josh, what does my old genes have to do with this? No, says Dad, not blue genes, genes found in your body. Now, we talked about that last week, huh? This is our strand of DNA, right? And what are these rungs filled with? Information, okay? Information that tells our cells what to do, because our cells are good workers. And DNA is the boss, right? A little portion of this DNA strand is called a gene. So it's kind of like, here's your finger, here's your fingertip. Your fingertip is part of your finger, but your fingertip is not your finger. All right, let's say that again. Here's your finger. Your fingertip is part of your finger, but your fingertip is not your whole finger. That's the same with DNA. This is DNA. It's a long strand. Inside those long strands of DNA are what we call genes. These are not genes like our blue genes. These are genes spelled Genes. That was one of our spelling words. It's a small portion, like a fingertip, of the DNA. The DNA has lots of genes in them, and those genes have information in them. All right, so that is DNA. And that is actually the end of this week's story. And if you look at this, last week they had a picture of a family tree, and it was just the grandparents, right? Well, this is just the great-grandparents. So now there's the grandparents, kids. So they got married, and they had these kids, these two. And then she got married to him, and they had these 3 kids. And then Josh came from Steve, the dad, and Claire. So they're going to have 2 more kids coming out here. And that's what I want to talk to you about. I would love to see you guys show me pictures of your sister, brothers, moms, dad. I would love, you can either take a picture on your phone and text it to me. You can take a picture and email it to me. You can bring the pictures to our online class and you can hold them up and we can see them and you can tell us about them. I think that would be an amazing thing to share on our Friday class after our spelling test. So that's one thing I would really, really, really like you to do, is to get some pictures together, some pictures of your family, like my picture of my mom or my picture of my grandma, and I would like you to bring them to the computer on Friday and we can share our pictures with the class and we can tell each other maybe a favorite memory or something that we like about this person, or just who the person is. I would love to see that. And I would love it if or like I said, you can also have your parents text it to me and I can share it. I can make a little PowerPoint and share it as well. So that's up to your parents what they want to do, and how they want to get the information to me, whether it's through sending it through email or text, or sending it through, or just showing it in front of everyone on Friday. Okay? All right, have a good day, you guys. I think you're awesome, and I'm so glad that to be your teacher, and I can't wait till we get to hang out again together.